was like, surely he wouldn't be thinking he could get enough keys with 3 ships. So I figured you'd just be moving down just to kind of like do some damage to bubbles. But yeah, just curious your thinking there.
Maybe I got in his head.
Maybe it's bad. I'm bad at math.
Yeah.
And Bubbles did get in my head. Bubbles is playing
Green or Worm Time.
now that I've heard him say
It's a Lord of the
how
Rings
he likes
reference.
to play, yes.
It's where I live.
That's
Middle Earth.
beautiful movies.
That's what we do down here. We just we talk about Lord of the Rings all the time.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Blight and Banter. My name is Alex, also go by Mighty Mango. I'm here with Richie.
Hello, I'm Richie, also go by Tiger Strike.
And we've also got Adam.
Oh, hey, my name's Adam. Also go by Bubs or Bubble Eyes.
And
we got
last,
Dan.
you got it.
Dan?
Welcome, Dan.
Sorry, I didn't hear my intro. Hi, I'm
Needs a
Dan.
bigger intro. Welcome, Dan.
Yeah. Hi.
Killing.
And what do you
Happy
go
to
by,
be here.
Dan?
I go by Dan.
Just went Dan.
Excellent news. Well, Tiger, Richie, what is it that we do on this show?
We are going to review the game that we played on Monday, and we're gonna break down the kind of the strategic or the tactical, or kind of see what we would do different, what we liked, what we didn't like.
We'll put these episodes out, our recap episodes, on Fridays. And then please join us on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will get together and have fun playing another game of Arcs, Leaders, and Lore. We are looking at the draft. So this was the picks for the day. It was quite a meaty group between the leaders especially, but had some really interesting lore. Yeah, what were people's initial thoughts seeing this one?
I was initially drawn to Feastbringer, but I think I was put off by starting with 2 cities. Not having the initiative meant I wasn't as interested in Noble or Demagogue. But yeah, having 2 cities, having a city in the B slot down here. I don't know if the map's up, but my second city is, second city would have been sort of vulnerable. So I ended up just taking a lore first, which was Hidden Harbors, which is just always kind of like a safe choice. So that Hidden Harbors, sorry?
No, by vulnerable you mean it was like next to other rivals, and you were concerned about that for the spot?
Yeah, and no like real supply line that's close by to sort of support it. I try and avoid that generally. So yeah, Hidden Harbors just allows you, as long as there's a starport, you can't be raided until that starport gets damaged, or destroyed. So I went for that one.
Bubs, I have a question, and also I'll point out there's a 3-player game. I wasn't able to make it, so we'll be just breaking down the 3-player game. You mentioned that you didn't want 3 of the leaders, so there's only 1 left that you did want, and you still picked the lore first.
There was I wanted Feastbringer or Corsair.
But you didn't want. Oh, okay. I guess I took that as you were kind of worried about the city, the double city thing.
Yeah, so it should be clear. I think originally I wanted Feastbringer, but knowing I had 2 cities starting, it kind of made me think I actually don't want the Feastbringer at all. Sorry. That's
okay.
Clearer. Yeah. So yeah. I would. Yeah.
Because usually when I'm approaching that, if I'm happy with 2 or maybe even 3 of the leaders, then I'll be more comfortable picking the lore first, and vice versa. But if I don't like the leaders, or if I don't want to get stuck with one, I'm a little bit more cautious. So I didn't know what your And also Hidden Harbors was great. So it's kind of a give or take there, give and take.
Yeah, we actually had a just
Yeah.
to jump in. Oh, I was gonna say we just had a weird, also a fun time because I think Bubbles, you went quickly for Feastbringer, and then you were still conflicted, and then during your thinking, we were talking about how when we put this to the Discord on the Very Giants chat, that a lot of people were saying obviously Hidden Harbors is the best card. It's S tier. You got to go for that one first, and also don't go for Corsair. Corsair was the the two pieces of advice. So, and during this drafting, we were talking about that while you were thinking and kind of reconsidering.
I
I
don't
know
have
if
the
that weighed.
same.
I don't know if that weighed into it.
I don't have the same dislike of Corsair. I think.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a fair bit of success with it in the past. So, yeah, I just think the 2 city thing was off-putting. And then choosing Hidden Harbors. Really, any other leader has a starport included in their setup, which is kind of what I wanted.
Oh, yeah. You're starting hitting the ground running.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think, because I know that when we were in it, you originally obviously took Feastbringer, and I was happy about that because I figured I'd be able to get Hidden Harbors, assuming Mango didn't. So I think, yeah, I feel like this was the right choice because I'll let Mango talk before I'd go through my decision, but obviously I was eyeing up the Noble and I just thought that'd be a really good combo with the Hidden Harbors. So yeah, when you went back and changed your mind, I was like, damn it.
Sorry to do that to you.
Yeah, I kept it cool, like my face, I was playing it cool, but deep down I was dying inside.
Yeah, and when I got, so I was next, and I think my general thought with these was, having thought about it during the day beforehand, that I wanted to go for Corsair actually, and was talking about it so blasé that no one else would possibly want Corsair, that I decided to go for my lore choice first. And I kind of had this, I don't know, vision with Corsair and the battling and stuff, that its battle ability somehow it would maximize force beams to move ships around in a way that I could raid in easily or something to that effect. But of course changes would come that would not allow that. But so I went with force beams first with my hubris, thinking that Corsair would be waiting for me. And I think my initial reaction was similar, I think, to what Bubbles was saying, where you have 3 other leaders that are all ambition based, and I was like, I just don't want to get in that fight. Like, I just don't want to be fighting to declare ambition, let alone how you usually would for like strategic reasons, but to also be doing it to like proc some sort of ability. Like, whether you're Feastbringer or Demigod or Noble, you're all getting some sort of favor for declaring ambition. And I just for some reason in my head I was like, oh well, Bubbles and Dan will do that and they'll figure and fight that out, and I'll just be over here on the side as Corsair. And like kind of moving between, just actually I think my thought was I'll steal everyone's cards after they get them, with the Corsair raid ability. But I don't know, Dan, what were you thinking when it got to you?
So obviously with Noble and Demagogue, those are the 2 that you do get the advantage for. Declaring in Feastbringer is the opposite, where you're disincentivized to declare. But yeah, so
But still,
you're right. Like
I think
there was still a high chance that out of the 3 players that are playing, possibly 2 of them are going to want to be declaring. For me, I'll just flick over the setup. I was on the double psionic spot on the left side. The other thing I was thinking, I've got close access to relics and a bit of fuel up the top. But I was mostly just thinking I would be able to put a lot of influence in the court with psionic and relic. And also I just wanted to play as Noble. I think Noble was probably a lot stronger at 3-player and obviously I was the starting player as well, so I knew I'd get a free declare, which would be a free court card straight off the bat. So for me, like Noble was a no-brainer. I can't remember. Did I take Noble first? I actually don't remember if I did or not.
You did, yeah.
I did, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will say the combo, and I don't think it happens. If it does happen, then I'll be surprised. But the Feastbringer Tool Priest combo is one that stands out just because of the fact that the Feastbringer doesn't have a starport, and you can always play a starportless game with the Tool Priest. But I actually I forget how it plays out. So yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, it does not play out like that because
Okay.
I didn't think I was getting Feastbringer.
Oh, right, okay.
But that is a very good point. And I actually just a good note to people at home and for myself is I almost never pay attention to the ABC differences, but I think they're pretty huge, and I'm gonna start paying more attention to those in my own games in terms of like where you're gonna be set up and what you are starting with. I kind of just roll with it and look more at the abilities, but those are big.
Yeah, Richie, I think if Hidden Harbors hadn't have been there, that would have been a combo I would have considered for sure. With the Tool Priests. Yeah.
I love Tool Priest. I think it's a really good card. I think it's one of the best lores. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Mango, you did Force Beam.
Yeah, I did Force Beams, and then Dan did Noble, and then it came back around to you, Bubbles.
Yeah, and I just think the Hidden Harbors pairs both strategically and thematically with the Corsair, so I went for that one.
Yeah, and I think I had hyped myself up so much on the Discord chat, like when you get insulated with online chatter being like, yeah, everyone must hate Corsair. That's why
I'm sorry, Mango. I have no idea where you're putting this in the Discord, by the way. I never see these posts.
You never see these?
Can you include us?
I thought I told
Can you include us
yeah.
on these posts?
Oh my
Dan,
God, guys,
Dan and
I have a
Adam.
different world. You got to check
Yeah,
out.
let us in.
Dan and Adam, do you know? Have you known? Like,
I've seen them. Yeah.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
seen them. Yeah.
Where are they?
Dan's on it. He's hit. It's in the.
It's on the
chat in the
general
Arcs
chat.
Discord.
Arcs general chat.
Arcs general.
Well, there's Arcs discussion and general chat, and I try to mix it up in both. But yeah, I'll make sure to add. And but you guys got to check your Discord.
I don't even know if I have Arcs general chat. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
All right. But yes, I'll. Anyway,
thank you.
Me and the group online were chatting about how stupid Corsair is.
Mango and his imaginary friends.
Yeah, they all like me online, and we're waving with our little stupid Discord animations, and they people were just like down on Corsair, and I mean, it's not one of the big guys, but I too like Corsair, so I was in my hubris again thought that no one else was gonna pick it, and then Adam surprised me by picking it. So then I went with Feastbringer, and I think I did that because again, Dan, thank you for clarifying. I definitely didn't want to go head to head in ambition declaring. I thought that would just be really annoying. I've been down that road before, and I have enough problems. So I thought I'd just do Feastbringer, so at least I can do the quick secure. But the city start out. I really built out my cities fast, and I think this is part of the trajectory, but you really get stuck at some point limitedly, like, oh wait, I kind of wish I had that other resource to access. So that's where I went.
Would choosing the demagogue there be considered like a hate draft? Like, would it be like do you think there's advantage to letting one player just dictate all the declaring? Or do you think there's strategy to counteracting them with another declaring leader?
Yeah, I think if you're seeing the noble as being in a strong position in this particular way, then definitely taking demagogue would be a good play. I hate the demagogue though. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I can't stand playing it.
Is it the paranoid or just the?
I don't know. It's just I think Putting agents out in the court, it's just, I don't know,
Yeah,
it
I
just
love
feels
it.
like you're constantly sticking your neck on the line. You know, you're
Oh,
having
that's
to
true.
declare all the time, so that means you're giving other players action, more action pips. Like, I just,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I've not had
Hello?
success with it, but
I'll only take it if I've got initiative at the start and Populist Demands is there.
Yes, yes.
Mm,
Or there's a
mm.
couple of Vox sitting out.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
we had a weird court. I feel like there were no Voxes. It took a while for a Vox to come out during the game, and then
Yeah.
it's an interesting mix. But all right, well, yeah, and then yeah, I agree with you. With
Me?
it's a naughty one, and I think to your hate picks question bubbles, I was more again still having to get my smelling salts to pick myself off the floor that Corsair was no longer available. So you know that's all I could think of.
I mean, personally, with all the leaders, Demagog's the one that makes me feel the most like I need to be like really cunning. Like
Mhm.
you've got to play a really political game. I feel, and it's like quite role play like feeling
Oh,
to
like
me.
table talk stuff, you mean?
Yeah, and just like board positioning and like when to strike. Like just because you can put agents out doesn't mean you should. It's like it feels very like to me. It feels
Yeah,
you've got to be really cunning with it, and that's why I like it.
nice. Oh, okay. Cunning's good. Yeah, yeah. I just
Yeah.
that's not. I'm never good at that, but um,
Mm,
so I think that's why just more straightforward. But oh,
mm.
so before we reveal Dan's final pick, as exciting as the lore options are, um, can we reveal it through the new feature we have? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
All right. So this is player one.
Oh,
Player one pick. We've got Dan with the
oh
Nova.
wow.
And what was your second pick?
So I went with predictive sensors here. So I guess the thinking was I really like tool priests, but I was thinking I would have lots of court cards, and predictive sensors is the kind of card where you can kind of defend your buildings a little bit better. You can spread your ships out a little bit, and then if people come for your stuff, you can sort of suck everyone back in to defend your buildings. So that was my thinking there.
Well, that's a good thought. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw that last time, I think, or I used it maybe one or two times, but it's a good deterrent. People
Yeah.
question it. Did you end up using it at all?
I can't remember.
I
Not.
don't think. Yeah, not or not sparsely.
Yeah, I should have gone for Tilbury's. I
Yeah.
regret it.
I know. Just hearing Tiger talking about tool priests, I was like, ooh, yeah, that would have been a much better one, even if I was hedging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be clear, like I didn't. I feel like I was picking the worst of a bad bunch, or best of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
for this specific situation, like that I used to really value tool priests, and I've come down on it a little bit just because I think I used like when I earlier on, like I was kind of thinking it's always good to just build as many ships as possible, but and maybe this
Right.
will lead into the conversation about having ships in your supply, but I think there is a lot of value to just not having ships on the board early, and
Yeah.
especially if it doesn't line up with when Warlord gets declared, like you can really screw yourself. So I don't know if it's always the best thing building a ship when you can.
Yeah.
And so
I think we saw that this
that's
time.
kind of where the value is from tool priests is being able to build lots quickly. So yeah, I think if you're wanting to be like an aggressive faction, then yeah, I think there's a lot of value in building quickly, but I was not planning on being aggressive.
And also just that purely that thing of seeding the board with two cities and having a city where there's never ever going to be the ability to build up a fleet there, having tool priests there just to at least be able to spawn ships in that part of the map is
True.
is awesome. But if you've got a starport city start, yeah, I agree. I'd be drawn to other lore.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about later how ships and building has played an important part. And I've definitely found in these games I've been trying to pay attention and learn because I'm seeing how important is like the ship math in terms of the pacing on the building, how many you group together, and how many you need to do this, and how many you want to have for defense, and how many you want to when you send a raid versus when you're sending to go for Warlord. There seems to be some numbers there that are key. So yeah, next is player 2. It's me, Mighty Mango. And I went with Feastbringer Force Beams. That's my face when
Did you
you know,
purposefully pick
bubbles.
these terrible photos?
First of all, I think yours photo.
Yeah, mine was really bad.
Yours
I
was
look like the
bad?
smuggest asshole ever. Look how smug I look.
You look. I tried to get a commanding pull. You know, like you're like, oh, I'm about to lead
like a-
my ships. You're noble. You're about to lead your ships to victory.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
Yeah, you
okay,
look
fair
like a
enough.
noble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
noble.
thematic. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
yeah. Mine was, oh my God, I can't believe
Yours
I
looks
didn't take
hungry.
Corsair. Oh, hungry. Yeah,
Are you
right,
trying to
hungry.
match the face
Hungry.
on the card?
No, but that's good. I was honestly going for like confused and frustrated, but hungry. I can see it now. It's like what is it when you match edit? It's like you trick yourself. Yeah, totally there. Yeah, so I picked those. I think we talked about it. Um, to the ship point, I never got to use force beams. There were a couple times I could have, but it would have been weird where I again would pull ships into my space. And I think I think a better plan for how to build the ships, especially with the cities, the double cities. I kept wanting to build more starports in the beginning, but just kept feeling like I had to build cities. So that was a big challenge for me. All right, player 3. We got what's up, Bubbles?
Yeah, that's the face of a pirate right there.
That is a man who's he's excited to steal from you.
But I mean, look at these two cards together. They're just meant to be together, the Corsair and the Hidden Harvest.
I think
He's
so,
happy
yeah.
with this draft.
Yeah, he's very happy with he's happy he stole Corsair.
Yeah, because he's all about stealing things and then keeping them
Yeah.
safe. You know?
right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Burying
And-
them, hiding them away.
And for safekeeping, for sure. And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our 4th player, who couldn't attend, but he was there. He was there in spirit, and we felt your presence, Tiger, wherever you are. Tiger, wherever you are,
Like you
we
said.
missed you. We missed you greatly.
That's
You were
amazing.
there, but we've soldiered on it. Don't
Incredible.
worry, buddy. We got the reach. We're holding it down.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Chapter 1, we got 2 ambitions declared. Both were done by Dan with the noble, and yeah, you wanted to show us, Tiger. You want to talk about the raids?
Yeah, well, I wanted to break down the turn, and Adam, feel free to jump in. What we missed here was you had just moved ships from, I'll use the correct terminology, gate 4. What's the material planet symbol? Hexagon. The 4 material gate.
Yep.
You had some ships in there, popped a fuel, brought everyone into the gate except for this ship, popped your weapons card for 3 extra ships, and then moved the 4 ships into Mango's house. And then if we fast forward
Right.
and then nothing happens. We're kind of like, Mango is kind of like, oh, that sucks. But there was really no response. I also note that there's 2 cities. You moved into this. You didn't start in this relic place. You moved in there and built 2 cities and you don't have a starport on the board, but kind of in that sector. And then, and I guess at that point, yeah, like, what are you thinking, Adam? What are you?
Okay, purely, simply, I see Keeper declared. I see the Feastbringer's got 2. I just want to get 1 relic at least to try and just place in the Keeper game and also get a captive. And I put 4 ships in there because there's 3 white ships in the area, and I knew that I would most definitely get my tax, completed, without, control being equalized. So that was just simply that. And,
Okay.
and it is a raid target, obviously. Like, there's low chance that you could destroy both cities. So I was like, oh, maybe I can do a little Corsairing there in the future. But it was in the beginning just to get a relic. Yeah.
Gotcha. So then there's not really a ton of response, and then if and you also notice you have one influence on the admin union there. So
Yes, yes,
that's
yeah,
potentially and I saw, spoilers
yeah,
alert, Adam winds up with that admin union card, and I was just looking to see if there was a way for you to have avoided getting that rated from you, or having not secured it when you have a fleet of 4 ships on your doorstep with no response. Like kind of make him outrage something to get that card
yeah.
versus securing it and having a 2-key raid cost admin card.
Yeah, I think what I think it's a good example of what I think we were talking about a little bit with the ships, but also with the cities. I definitely over looking at this now, I'm like, that's way too many cities for this early on. I start with 2, but I didn't need to add 2 more. Maybe you see keepers declared. I feel like a little bit is chasing that, also feeling like keeper is going to be coming up again as just my hunch, which I don't think was completely accurate, but then keeper would come up again as a ambition in the future. So I was deciding I'd kind of plant my flag here, get in on this control of the situation, and then be able to tax twice. Which looking at it, one, I think over on the upper left, I start with nothing next to me, and probably felt like that's safe or something. Well, and the keeper part, just I felt like going there first. Would I do it over? I wouldn't have invested so heavily and probably expanded maybe more here where I'd have less kind of immediate threat. But I don't know. As it is, I think I was hunkering down on a path that was going to kind of leave me ship strapped. Like I think within a couple turns, Dan too has like a whole fleet up here of his ships, or brings them up there, but has like 4 or 5 separate from what's already on the board. And I never quite got there, in the same bulk amount.
Is there something in your sort of, do you think there was something in your mind like, I just want to get all my cities out so I can maximize the chance of getting city bonus and having all that storage?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a little bit of it where it was like, oh, I started with a relic, I think, and then having access to the keeper taxes there, I was like, oh, I can probably get keeper and get the city bonuses out. It's kind of like a back and forth discussion. I definitely thought about building a starport before building this many cities, and I think I just went ultimately with another city because it's like, oh well, I'll get the city bonus out for the end of the round, which was about which is 1 card away, or actually because of all of Dan's union cards, there's a couple cards away, but at least for me and Bubbles, it was 1 card away. And yeah, I think that was the hedge I was making, but I definitely later seeing this now, having played the rest of the game, where I always felt like short on ships, I felt like I couldn't, the attack moves that would later happen that I did were like just enough to make a little bit of a dent, but it wasn't the type of thing that I would see, Dan, you or Bubbles, you and Dan both do with larger like fleets. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. No,
That's
it's
a good
good.
observation. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you do have another slot there for a starport. Maybe you didn't think you'd be transgressed against so quickly, or
Well, I didn't think I'd have be stabbed in the back so quickly. I thought I was playing with gentlemen, but apparently no.
I'm a salty sea dog.
How did you
Yeah.
lose your starport in for Hexagon there? Didn't you start with a starport, or no, the Corsair doesn't start with a starport there? Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like a warning. I feel like that's like a warning sign of like he had a weapons card and 3 disposable ships that he turned into 6 disposable ships, or 6. Like that's a pretty tense negotiation.
Yeah, I think we just also had some Dan Bubbles action up above. I don't know. I felt kind of like I just didn't see those 3 ships like moving there, with the extra ship that he put. But,
Okay. And then just one last quick point about if you find yourself with a bunch of ships on your doorstep with no real way to defend, and you have influence in the court, don't, maybe not always, but don't secure that card, because then it will get taken. Make someone ransack you, so that
make
at
someone
least they have,
ransack. Yeah.
because then they can at least, they'll have to outrage relics or whatever, and maybe they don't want to outrage relics, especially if they're going for keeper. That could have mitigated your losses when he raided you first turn of the next chapter.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Especially this early in the game.
Yes.
Mm.
Just a thought. I don't think that's that's every time, but just in this situation, it seemed like that was
No,
what
but
I had for that.
I think there are like, this game has so many kind of meta strategies where it's like, if you're in this position, here's the ideal
Hmm.
thing to do in general, you know, and I think, yeah, learning and sharing those is something I need to learn more about, that I think lots of people would want to hear more about.
I don't think you should be afraid of building cities. Because people are like, oh, if I build a city, it could get raided and there's no starport there to support it, or I'll get taxed. But if you do build cities that you can't support, you kind of enter this this role of trying to manage the tyrant declares. So it's kind of like you're leaking agents, but you're like, okay, now I've got a responsibility to put the lowest marker on tyrant. So you're kind of taking on an extra job
To get them back, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, to keep whoever's to keep them cycling and make them not tyrant, not really relevant. That's how you can kind of get away with having cities everywhere.
I like that. That's good. That's kind of what I had for chapter 1. Does anyone else have anything in chapter 1 or into chapter 2, or how chapter 1 ends?
Yeah, I just want to point out that I think I went back and, yeah, chapter 1 has 8 rounds, 2 of which are Dan's procking union cards, and also Dan declared, I think, all 3 of the ambitions that round, or that chapter. He declared all 3 of the ambitions and got, 3. I think two out of 3 really strong cards. I think one card was Song of Freedom that he couldn't use, but the others were really helpful cards that he could at least turn into ships, if not anything else. So, yeah, Dan was making great use of the noble, I think, literally out the gate with the first round. But
I mean, I'll let Dan speak, but I've got a take on this.
You go, Bubs.
Because I think you said it at the time, Dan. I don't think the union served you that well, because yeah, you get the initiative going into chapter 2, which is what you want as a noble, because you get to do the declare, but you've already got all the declarations out.
Yeah.
And your main fleet kind of got taken out early by me. So having all these extra actions, I don't know, if it probably would have been better to draw some loyals, or like, or like elder broker or anything, or like, I don't know if the unions were like the best thing. Maybe get 1, but not like 2, 3. I think, did you
it was
4?
no, I might have got 3. It was diminishing returns. I think what it did allow me to do was get well set up, because I think I can't remember, but I think I had a low build card that I was allowed to use a couple of times. So it allowed me to just get all my cities out and a couple of ships, and so I was really able to like lock down 5, because especially with the early attack that you did on me, Bubs, in 1, you basically eradicated me for 1, I think, in the first turn, maybe. So I was like, okay, I need to shore up 5 and make sure I've got a good sort of home base. So it allowed me to do that. But yeah, I think long term there wasn't a huge amount of value, and I didn't have. I think with what I wanted was, you see people with noble, like you can kind of build up like a massive stable of guild cards if you can get the right ones. Like even if you can get a couple of loyal cards, they'll last you the game if you can get a couple of loyal cards, and then I think you really kind of start to build on that momentum when you've got 4 solid cards that aren't easily raidable, and you're still adding on top of that. Whereas obviously the blanking on the names, but the unions, you know, they're gone. You know, you play them and they're gone. So it's I guess that diminishing return thing.
Yeah, they're never bad, but I think it
Yeah,
would have been nice to get a bit of variety there.
yeah,
Yes, and you're right. You do have, once you use them, you have to use it that kind of chapter. And I think Bubbles, I do remember Dan saying at the end, he was just kind of trying to come up with things to do a couple times on the last two cards.
Because
yeah,
from memory, I think Dan then started drawing more like warmongering type guild
yeah.
cards.
I did,
But he didn't have the fleet to really, you know, put them to real use. But then I guess you can preload them to get the ships. But yeah.
But I think I got them, and I got most of my ships out by early round 2. So now I've got these cards that let me get more ships, and I can't. You know, they're just kind of sitting there waiting to be raided.
Yeah, I think the Noble got a bit of a rough, like a weird draw sequence.
Yeah, and all of that set, and I don't know. I assume we'll kind of go into the next chapter, but like even coming into chapter 3, like I think I had a pretty solid lead, and I don't think it went super great. So I think the Noble is pretty OP at 3-player.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, well, we'll go into chapter 2. Did anyone have any thoughts on chapter 2?
Can we just touch on the end? If we can bring up the TTS save of how it did shake out. I think because there was like a 5-point lead for Warlord at the end of chapter 1.
Oh, there you go. All right,
Yeah, and that's not a huge lead, but I think it was 5 or 6 points, and that is something to keep in mind, or just closing that gap going into chapter 2 for you, Dan.
Yeah. And again, you know, I had all those extra actions, and I wasn't able to convert into points. So I think that you can kind of see that as an indictment as well.
This next chapter is when Dan really exerts some pressure on us.
All right, here we are, chapter 2. The end. Oh, am I sharing this? You guys seeing this?
Yep. Okay, it was about in the middle of the chapter, and you seize the initiative, Mango. And I think so. Psionic, Empath had been double declared, so it was like 7 points for first.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the lead, so that was a play that I remember specifically because I had the lead, and I was like, had a big move lined up to move on Bubbles, and then you seized the initiative, and I was thinking like, okay, he's probably gonna go back down to that relic planet that we were sort of started out talking about, thinking, you know, now's the time he's going to go back and get it back. And then you just moved on me, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, actually,
and,
I mean,
I think you rolled about a couple of red dice to get some psionic off me.
Yeah, I think this is what you're talking about. Yeah, you had 3 psionics, and I won, and Empath was double declared. So again, I'm thinking opportunistically, and I think I'm starting to see a pattern of like, I'm gonna stretch myself to go try to get some of that. I didn't look to really see how all your psionics were locked under 3 keys. I didn't do the math ahead of time. I honestly didn't to look at like, oh, it's gonna take like at least 5 keys to get 2 psionics to put me ahead. I was honestly thinking like, I'm gonna go get some psionics.
I guess you got two attacks.
Yeah, I mean, I
'Cause you
used it to get 2 attacks, and I think that's what I was thinking. But I rolled like one terrible.
Yeah, you rolled bad as well.
Yeah,
I think when we jump to a spot like this, just to provide some basic context, because it's like, you know, just where we are in the chapter. It's like, and you know, who's scoring what. Yeah,
it's about halfway through the chapter, and Empath's been double declared.
I think you've got 1 card left, Mango, and then I've got 3, and then I don't know what Dan's got. But
I got 2.
And I think that was the raids. Just this first roll was not. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that's
that type of
terrible.
day for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the
Yeah.
first roll was a waste, and the second one was. But again, it's I think there's got to be this number for at least how to if you're trying to make an objective decision on like should I do this push, like what's it going to take to do it, success rate, and how much should I bring?
I think a lot of it is why I think it's interesting is because the cost to you not only of doing the raid, but just the fact that you have to pay the card for the Cs as well. So now you're short a couple of cards on the rest of us.
Mm.
So it is I think when you're doing this kind of thing and you're setting it up, you've just got to be so sure that it's going to go well or that you've got enough to do it. If you're paying that kind of heavy price.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, that if like season should kind of your cost threshold should raise because now you've got less
Yeah.
chance to do stuff. And in addition, the retaliation, not retaliation for being mean or feeling vengeful, but just like, oh, now I've got 3 ships that are exposed sitting ducks.
Yeah.
I've got one thing that you need to steal back to be whole again.
Yeah.
Bubbles has to steal back. So yeah, it doesn't push you far enough ahead to not then be easily brought back down.
Yeah.
I think is a challenge there.
Also,
Alright, well, yeah, go ahead.
in this context, I mean, there's an interesting negotiation of I think Dan is going to score. He stands to score what you said, double declared 7 points for
Yeah,
empath.
7 points. Yeah,
And it's
+2. I think I might have hit a city bonus.
so it's almost like that's the bargaining chip for like, okay, Dan
Yeah.
is behind, like let him score that, let me score my points. I'm gonna get right now, Mango, you stand to get 10
Yeah.
points, right, for your city bonus plus Tycoon.
Right, if I got Tycoon, yeah.
Well, you
So
have
I was holding on to the cartel, I think.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the cartel had been stolen, but yes, but right in terms of like picking a lane and sticking with it, and I think the cartel got stolen. I was just like, I'm just
Gotcha.
I think this for me this was really interesting as well. Like not I'm not wanting to because obviously there's Mango's thought process as well. But for me, like I'm going, when you seize, I'm like, okay, obviously he's going to do something big here. And so I'm thinking, what are the things that he can do? So I think that's an interesting thing as well, is like, as the player who is seeing someone else seize, you're kind of thinking, what is possible? And so obviously I saw that was a possibility, but I figured down in 4, the better
Right,
possibility was
down
you
here,
just move
yeah,
those 2 ships in there, you blow up a bunch of bubble ship. I was like, yeah, actually that's a good outcome for me. So I'm kind of happy with this.
yeah.
So I'm kind of sitting there going, oh yeah, I won't say anything. Whereas if I'd known that that's what you were going to do, I would have been like, hey man, like what, like
Yeah,
you've only got 3 key, you got to roll a bunch of key and all that kind of stuff, So
Right.
then the sort of table talk side of things comes into play as well. But yeah, that was an interesting spot.
I can see why you did it though, because
Yeah.
you're trying to get the 3rd psionic to take a bunch of points. You got both your cities out, so that would be quite like a
Yeah,
windfall.
it would be a coup. Yeah.
The positive
The
is
problem is
taking-
you got a pirate over you that is up on
can just take it straight back.
Yeah,
Right.
up on
Yeah.
cards. It's got a weapon, so you kind of like burned away all your cards. And then even if you do
Yeah.
steal it, there's a big risk you will lose it.
Yeah, it's a great point.
No, that's true, and I think, I mean, the ships were up here, over in Sector 6. The lack of starports again, it's going to take a long time to get anywhere, let alone the fact that the gates were positioned there. But actually, I could have gone this way, to the right, and made it at least down there, in terms of like trying to get bubbles out of my space. But I think that's again the lock-in on the cities. I'm just stuck. And again, this fuel planet and this Sonic planet were both open to me in the beginning, and just seeing it now, I think getting a better like star base establishment using force beams, maybe I don't know, those things would have offered a lot more flexibility. But as soon as you like have your star bases are what here and over here. It's like I think my fleets were just too disparate. Like I have instead of having like you guys had a 4 in one spot and 4 up here, I had 2, 3, 2. And these are kind of split.
I can totally see why you did it though. Plus,
Yeah,
I'm quite
yeah.
quite tricky to raid. So going after my fleet and just getting rid of that threat doesn't get you points.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a I can totally see why you went that way. You probably were just sort of like in a bit of a stuck position with the cards you had and what resources you had to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. I think this is a good, like, that seems like a really the focal point, or like maybe the key moment of chapter 2 seems to be this seize and attack. So I'm glad we're digging into it and kind of seeing the different perspectives.
Dan,
Yeah.
take us through the end of chapter 2.
So what do we got? We've got obviously won both Tycoon and Empath, so that went very well for me. And looks like Bubbles got second place, Tycoon. So yeah, I managed to leapfrog everyone, and I'm down at 18. Bubbles is at 11, and Mango down at 7.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think
yeah, go ahead, Dan.
sorry, you go. I can't
No, I was just
remember
gonna say
anything.
I mean, the biggest part about Tycoon was, as we looked just now when we were talking that deep dive, it was kind of the middle of the chapter. I had Cartel, Bubbles took Cartel, and I want to note to people, this is not a regular cartel where like there's 3 on the supply. None of us were having material buildups. Like we weren't procking, shipping interest or whatever. We weren't or mining interest. We weren't doing this. So basically, if you had cartel, you had 6. I mean, you had 5, 6 automatic. And so you have the cartel right there, and you stole it from Bubbles, who stole it from me, all within this chapter. So that was nicely done to like get that back to the kind of rating and rating you and Bubbles are doing.
It's coming back to me now, because after you did the seize and that action, then I immediately seized, because I knew that with you being a card short, you would end up passing the initiative to Bubs, and so I saw Bubs as the main threat, and obviously he had the cartel, so I managed to seize, and I think I raided Bubs. It must have been, let's have a look. Oh, it must have been up in Sector 1. The fuel planet there, it looks like. So yeah, managed to successfully get that, which helped get all those points. I had the +2 city bonus as well, so yeah, decent score around there. And I think Bubbles must have the lead going into this chapter though.
Yeah, the initiative's in the wrong spot, but yeah, it's the lead. I used Guild Struggle to take the empaths, so we ended up tying second place empath.
Right.
Yeah, and Dan's only real raid spot was that fuel planet. And I built that initially just as a pirate needing fuel to get around. And knew it would be the point that I would eventually get raided. But I thought someone's going to have to get fuel out, so
yeah,
that's okay. So that's where it did end up happening. And yeah, Dan just got a whole bunch of points, so he became public enemy number 1 going into the next chapter.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. It's great to have an enemy,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And just to also highlight, so
it's great not to be
again.
number 1.
Yeah, it's great not to be the target on your back. I think Dan again did all 3 ambition declares this round. I believe. I can't. No. Yeah, I think he did. But he also, one was done in the middle of a round through Populist Demands. Yeah, so it was
No,
like
the other one, the city one,
city one.
Song of Freedom.
Oh, you did with Song of Freedom. Sorry, Song of Freedom.
So I top decked Song of Freedom, which did nothing. So that was a bit of a bummer.
Mm.
And I will note I've pulled all the tokens out. Dan has currently got 0 ships
Right.
in his supply, and Warlord was not declared, so he's all the ships on the board are what he's going to have to work with next chapter. That's it.
It's a biggie.
Yeah. Whereas White and Teal both have some ships.
Yeah. And by this time, you had, I think Dan had used a couple of core cards to get 3 ships out, and I think you too, Bubbles, had used a couple maybe, or at least one.
Yeah, Dan popped skirmishers and gatekeepers, and all his ships went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I basically did all that to do that raid, I think, just to get in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously the downside is you're almost like a sitting duck because you get that far ahead, but you're not at 25 or 27. Yeah, it's interesting. It's oh, you go.
No. I was saying, yeah, it's interesting because if I just didn't have the cards to do it, but if I had some ability to get a couple builds and 3 out, like you're pretty scattered, Dan, with your ships, and they're all light in space, and you have no way to bring back more. And if either of us had a big enough fleet to like wrecking ball through stuff, we could have probably cleaned up a little. But I had no way to get them out, and it would take Bubbles a couple turns for him to get his out. But so you were you were a sitting duck, but you're kind of safe, at least for the time being.
We should just quickly go over the outrage incident.
Yes.
Tell me about the outrage
Yeah.
incident.
Because this was literally the event that made it
Actually,
possible for either Mango or Aya to
The outrage,
pass red.
the outrage incident. I'm so excited.
This is like therapy, going back and reliving
yeah. I felt that way.
some of your worst moments.
How did it make you feel?
Got to be done that way. That's how you
How did it
improve.
make you feel? All right, so here we are, chapter 3. We got the new dice window out. Warlord is out with, I think, the most it will have, at least 6 at a time. Dan's only got 1 ship in the trophies. I've got 3 trophies, and Bubbles has 6. And here
Yeah, and I started the chapter with the initiative, and I declared Warlord because I was up on trophies. And I thought, I've got a good chance. Dan's got a lot of ships out, but consolidating them may take him too much time.
Yeah.
But it was still a risky thing because I was like, he's got a lot of resources. He's got the ability to probably compete on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to declare something because I didn't want the noble getting first dibs on the first declare.
Right. Well, here's Dan. I remember Dan, I think you had a bunch of back and forth, like where you were going to start. Like, first you were like, should I fight Mango in the gate? And then you're like, no,
Yeah.
I'll go here.
Mm.
Right?
So at this point, what's been declared? Is it
Warlord
It's
and Tycoon. And there's one open.
Tycoon? So I think my main thinking here was I just want to be competitive on Warlord.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately what kind of blinded me into doing the outrage. Was I just had in my mind, if I can outrage, that's two extra trophies. Like, that's just amazing. So obviously I had a whole lot of psionic. So I was just doing psionic moves. I think I probably got about 6 actions maybe with this turn.
Stacked it up, yeah.
So I was basically able to move in there, kill all the ships there. So I'm basically counting the ships. I think at this point I could either have gone from 1 down to whatever the bottom one is, 4, and gone for Bubbles ships in 4, or I could come up here and ransack. And I just
had
kind of
one.
thought, sorry, you go.
I had 1 agent on loyal keepers at the time, I believe.
Yeah. So I just thought, get the ransack, I get the keepers, happy days. And it would have been an extra pip to move down if I'd gone down south. But I was just trying to think, how can I get the most? Because the thing with Warlord is, like, it's the kind of thing where if you can get a big enough lead, you can just take it away. And so I just really didn't want to, go make it close. I just wanted efficient trophies as much as possible, and I thought I could just ransack that. It'll be
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
I just did. I'd just taken the was it the
Cartel.
Union?
Yeah, no, you had the materials cartel.
I had the cartel and there was a construction union as well.
Oh,
So
yes,
it was like
yeah.
just terrible decision because I lost both. I didn't even notice that I'd lose either of them. So yeah,
You went
it
from
was just
about
But what,
very, very bad.
you went from about
but what you
7
did do,
to 0. Yeah.
but what you did do is you got three trophies from the material area, 2 buildings, and the agent from the ransack.
Yeah,
So it wasn't for nothing. You
Yeah.
put yourself
But-
in top position for the best ambition.
so that's
you
that was
just-
my thinking. Yeah, I can, and if I can get all my cities out, that's 11 points. That'll get me over the line. I just needed, and so I was just like, I just need to win that. I might.
Yeah.
And you kind of, and when you're playing live like this, like and I was trying to be quick, and so I didn't have time to just kind of think through. And yeah, it was just a really bad mistake, because if I'd just taken 5 seconds to look at what I was going to lose if I'd outraged, it would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Dan, quick question. I can't see
Yeah.
exactly where your score is. Would you have won with 10 points? Would you have won if you won Tycoon with City
Yeah.
bonus? Okay,
Yeah,
so it
I was
wasn't
on 18.
it wasn't that tight, but you still would have won. Okay.
Yeah, and because I think I had about a 10-point lead on the others, so I think if I got 10 points, I was just thinking, I think I should be able to be pretty competitive. If I can just win Warlord, I'm competitive. But what I wasn't thinking about was the fact that Tycoon had been declared, and I had the cartel.
Yeah.
I think I was in the back of my mind thinking the cartel will get raided off me, and it's not the end of the world if no one can have it. You know what I mean? So I think there was that thought in the back of my mind, and I kind of, but didn't think about it too much. And then losing the Union was just like this is such a terrible decision. Yeah. So
I wonder.
Plus, Silver Tongues is out, so you might have been looking at that, being like, it's probably going to get stolen off me.
yeah. I might have been thinking that. Probably not though. Let's not give me too much credit.
Well, it's interesting. Two questions I had is, one is, there's going to be a chapter 4 weighing on your mind, like preparing for that?
No.
Or were you?
No,
thought it was
I was
gonna be
thinking
done?
I need to get this done. Yeah.
Because the score was like
'Cause-
18 to 11 to 7, so you had 7-point lead over Bubbles.
Yeah, I think this is interesting because, like, when you think about, there's almost like a flow to the game, particularly around like Warlord. And so what Bub was saying before about me having all my ships out, I just think that with Warlord being declared now, you guys are going to be pushing to kill ships. Like that's what people are doing when Warlord's been declared, right? And so I've got ships all over the board. So I'm thinking that big fleet that I've got there, that's going to get blown up. And going into next chapter, I'm going to be very, I'm not going to have many ships on the board. I'm going to have to be rebuilding next chapter. And I don't want to be focusing on rebuilding next chapter. I want to be focusing on, because you guys will be have all your ships out there and you'll be thinking about winning. And so I think at this point, I just needed to win it now, was my thinking.
Yeah. Well, I think that makes total sense. I think I hadn't thought about it till you mentioned about why not go south to where there's like my ships and Bubble ships, and maybe you wouldn't get as much bang for your buck. But in terms of keeping Tycoon, or why go in so strong and just try to take out one building with a couple dice or something? Because like maybe
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing. I know you're saying
No,
it's happening in the
all I
moment.
was thinking was Tycoon is declared, yes, but I know I can't hold that. Or I know it's unlikely I'll be able to hold it. And Silver Tongues was there, like Bob said, so maybe I had seen that as well. I can't remember. But I was just thinking, I know I can be competitive in Warlord now, But
Yeah.
in hindsight, I should have gone down south and got those 3 blue ships that are down there, because I think that probably still would have done the job.
Yeah, interesting. That's interesting because I think because there's a little bit of like, well, yeah, someone else could take the stuff and try to win Tycoon, but by this action, you almost just like gave it up. You know, you just like threw it out the window like a little bit.
I understand
Yeah.
the logic though. I do understand the
Totally.
logic
Yeah.
of getting like, because when you provoke outrage, that card's the cartel's just gone. And no, as
no
you
one
said
can have it.
before,
Oh,
no
right,
one can,
we can't
no
get
one
it.
can
Yeah,
have it.
right. No, that's true. Yeah.
So it almost is a deterrent of getting raided as well. It's like, oh, now you don't really have a good reason to raid me for my
And-
other stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking as well, like I think I had a city left. I can't quite see it on this screenshot, but I
You had a
think I
city?
still needed to get a city out. So I was kind of thinking, if I
yes, yeah.
blow all I open up all those spaces, it's quite far away from everything. I mean, it's not very far away from White's ships up there, but you know, like I can just kind of build my last city in this corner of the world, kind of
Right,
thing,
yeah, you did have a
rather
city
than if
there,
I was moving down into that relic planet, and because I knew I'd need to build that city out somewhere.
But last question just about the ransack, was that really it was like a keeper, right? Was that important of a
No,
ransack? No, that wasn't really,
but it's a loyalty, you know, like you're just like
No,
that'll
it's something.
I'm sure that'll
Yeah,
be
it's not
helpful.
bad. Not bad.
But it's
Maybe
more
some-
about the agent that gets put in your trophy box, right?
Right.
And I think I had 2 relics there already, so I was kind of thinking backdoor chance that I can get relic declared as well, and if I've got loyal keepers, like that's a nice 3 key
Yeah.
digits as well. So I was kind of thinking like it wouldn't be bad to have, but yeah.
Well, that's true.
Cool.
The last ambition had not been declared yet. Yeah, so we still had that. Yeah.
Is there a
Yeah.
shot of what have I got? I've got empaths and 2 materials. So I'm all of a sudden in leading Tycoon with 2
Right, but with only 2.
with a material and a fuel.
Yeah.
So it's a very small lead, but it went from being very far behind to being, slightly in the lead on it. But also on the board, I've got no buildings now, so I'm vulnerable to get raided at any spot where I have ships. So in my mind right now, I'm thinking I got to get a building down as soon as possible.
And this is where I think I seized here, and then this is where we had our long heart-to-heart bubbles while Dan got his tea, and or coffee. I forget which. What the
Okay.
what is it they drink in the Shire? No.
Mango, let me interrupt.
Yes, please,
Dan, Dan's time is up.
Sorry, I've just-
we
just gotta shoot
slotted
off.
him. We slotted him in for an hour and 15 minutes, and that's all we
Oh.
paid for. So we
That's
got to
all
say
we
goodbye to
did.
Dan.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, thank you,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dan.
We'll do you justice. Don't worry. See you, man.
Sorry, I wanted to make that more of a say
Yeah, well,
goodbye. Say goodbye
That's a
moment.
wrap for Dan. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
good
big
job,
one,
Dan.
yeah. But this is where Bubbles and I had this like tete-a-tete because, and maybe a small percentage of it is like, okay, I don't want to say kingmakery at this point, but it's like, am I gonna go attack up here in the north with red, or am I gonna attack down here in the south with blue? And again, attack, I have no cards to turn into powerful weapons. I got silver tongues. I use silver tongues to get Dan's weapon resource, and then I use like a movement card or another card to jet around and do my attacks. But the question was go for Dan or go for Bubbles, and I was trying to figure a way to do both because I would also declare the last ambition of Tycoon, and I was figuring, man, wouldn't it be great if I could get enough ships to come in first or second for Warlord from like an attack, but also get stuff from like attacking Bubbles to get ahead of Tycoon. And this is all before Bubbles' crazy final moves. I was trying to do what was best for my points, and I was trying to figure could I get. I was like 1 pip shy. One option was rebuild with construction, like all over here. I have 2 ships where I could build like a spaceport, build some ships. I could have like 3 more ships on the board, and really revitalize myself, or I could go and on the attack. And ultimately, I decided to go on the attack because there wasn't really that much time, and I knew that someone was going to probably win this chapter, and the game was going to end. And I just could not calculate. I couldn't math it. I had a movement card that I declare ambition with, as you can see here. It's about to happen. Pull down this last ambition to Tycoon, and then I use the weapon I steal with my silver tongues from Dan. I use my silver tongues to steal the weapon from Dan, and then I use that to battle around a little bit. It's a 2, so there's 4 pips. So I have some movement ability, but as you can see, my ships aren't ready to fight, and they're kind of scattered. So I gotta like build a fleet and get them somewhere. And I just couldn't do it where I could go attack Dan, think I'd get enough of his ships, and also do something in the south and attack Bubbles, because like I said, with Bubbles, I could try to steal his material and fuel resource to get myself at least temporarily ahead in Tycoon and feel better about myself. I had no idea if I could even hold on to it, but it was just like to even get it felt like worth the effort. But I just couldn't get enough pips to make both happen, and so I just went with trying to go for Warlord with Dan, which that maybe that choice at the end I should have just gone for the Tycoon, and because I could have come out, except for then what ended up happening anyway. I probably would have had a better shot coming in first to Tycoon, which I was double declaring, and then second with
I
Warlord,
think the
maybe.
problem,
But yeah,
yeah,
right.
the problem with that was just it would have left Dan on 29 points because we would have ignored his Warlord lead.
Yeah.
And left him with it. So that was my argument. Is like if we leave him with that fleet up in cluster 1,
Right.
he's just gonna use it to oppress us even more and solidify his lead. And I
Yeah.
was thinking, Mango's the only one that can do it, and it will also put him in a position where he can potentially win Warlord.
Yeah, and I think that's true.
What?
And my behind was so behind that even if I got first in Tycoon, that's only an additional, what, like 14 points, and I'm only at 7, so I only get through like 21, and then I don't make it. You know, I think
One
that's
quick question. Why
yeah.
did you declare Tycoon? Why did you declare it all?
Yeah, that was why I declared, because I wanted to like I really wanted to try to slow down Dan as the
But you had
overall
to give a
red team.
card. What card did you have to give?
It was a
He
two
gave
of
me Relic Fence.
oh yes, relic fence. Yeah, yeah.
Because I was in the last position, like comparatively.
After me, yeah.
Yeah, and I already had Relic Outrage, so it wasn't the worst kind of card to give. It wasn't
Yeah, I mean,
empowering me a lot.
again, yeah. Well, I was going to declare it last. I mean, I guess, yeah. And keeper just seems such a mess to even try for. And again, Dan had first in keeper, so it was like, okay, if I declare, I remove other options for other people. There's not going to be keeper for Dan. Like he was just even before he hopped off, he was saying maybe I could have gone for keeper. Like that put a nail in that coffin. I didn't want to increase Warlord, obviously, because it was just Tycoon was the one I had the best chance at. I think,
Okay,
yeah, and that's why I was like,
I
I
like
just
that.
got to get it. Yeah, I got to take this last ambition
Yeah,
off the board. I got to give the best shot for myself. It was a very narrow shot because, yeah, without me winning Warlord, I don't think I could have even won the
so
game at all. So yeah,
this declare here is that 4 token going down.
yeah, yeah. So that goes
Right,
down for Tycoon, and
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then I get the weapon. Then I go
yeah.
move my guys to the right. We go roll some dice.
Because there was an urgency to this, because if we didn't pounce on Dan, he would have just increased his Warlord lead.
Yeah, well,
So
if
it
you,
was
yeah,
like it's now or never. Like
yeah, it's kinda,
So you big summited,
um,
and then Grima Wormtongue just got in there and
yeah.
come
I think
on,
if
come
you
on.
listen to the, no, I mean, we talk about how it was real, it wasn't worm tongue, but also there is one point where it's like within a minute of being like, yeah, you should go for Dan, and then Bub's like, you know what? Looking at this now, I gotta go, I gotta take your stuff, and fair enough. I mean, that's what it is. I look, I gotta. We don't talk about arcs enough as a game, but like. I mean, we talk about the game, we don't talk about like why we love it, and like I
Mm.
could win or lose this game, and just as long as it's just so fun.
Yeah,
Agree.
could you go to that spot where we just saw the aggression cards coming out, the 4 and the 5?
You'll have to. Oh, yep, there we go. Yep.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay. So what's this? Tell us what's happening here. You have, if you can look,
So
sorry, down in the bottom
yeah,
corner, we've got prison wardens. Is it
yeah.
I think-
So prior to this turn, um, I'd taken a risk in double influencing prison wardens, because you can see on the board, I've got only 2 ships. What, 3 ships? There's one under that green hand. And Dan's got this warlord, like a significant warlord lead.
Yeah. It had been
So
8
we're
and
both
8. Sorry to cut you, but it just had been
Mhm.
7, 8, and 8 last time we checked in before this next move was
Yeah.
happening.
So my board presence is really, really low, but I'm wanting to get my cities out and try and hold on to this Tycoon lead. And the prison wardens was my shot at this, because I knew I had a material in my supply, sorry, in my storage there, and I had some captives to convert. So when I saw it, I was like, the only way I'm gonna have a shot in this game is if I can get prison wardens. And luckily, the 2 agents from the 6, Dan was unable to. I was gonna get initiative, but Dan wasn't able to out influence me on that card. Even though if he had the right card, he probably would have. So yeah, that's just all I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
And
kind of
also,
where we're at. Like, yeah.
just to add to the where we're at, just to math it out, if we look at the score at the bottom, I'm maybe you guys knew this already, but I'm just realizing this now. No one wins this game without winning both Warlord and Tycoon, or like maybe someone gets out winning one and a second the other. But Dan needs both to really like win it. I think because he gets to 29 if he. Oh no, even if Dan wins both, he only gets to.
Yeah,
If he just wins Warlord, he only gets to 29. So he needs at least a second.
exactly.
So someone has to win part of both. I have to win both
Yeah.
straight out. Dan and Bubbles, I think, have to win at least one and second the other. So otherwise, we're going to chapter 4.
So this
Okay.
point right here, I'm playing the 5, so I'm taking initiative,
Right.
and I
Okay.
used 1 pip to secure the prison wardens, and mining interests got put in its place. And then the second pip, I moved the ship in gate 4 to gate 1. This is a construction turn just to get the cities out and to convert the agents. Press gang.
Yeah. Oh, Preston. Yeah. So he returns the captives, gets resources, which is an action usually after Prelude, but because he also has loyal empaths, he can take his construction material, make it a psionic. But I mean the ability to then, because isn't it this turn you make the ships, or no, that's next turn?
No, that was just 3 construction.
Oh, okay. All right, great. So yeah, you stock up with
Yeah.
the necessary stay ahead of Warlord.
And I was at this point, I was still blind. I was like, I can't win this. I might win Tycoon, but I'm not gonna like.
So you get the last card all by yourself. Drop a weapon on it. I think there's some debate about where you're gonna go.
And you need what, 4 trophies?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you just need. Yep, you need 4 trophies, and there they are. Well, there's 5. Oh, I'll put them.
And
There
that
we
was it.
go.
So,
Mm.
Bubs, your first win. Congratulations.
First win, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like when you're running a gauntlet and you see there's all the axes and the fire and stuff, and then you just see this clear path. I don't know if you've seen Snowpiercer. It's like when all the doors open and you make the run. But that's just how it felt. It's like
Oh, just like
sometimes
charge ahead. Yeah.
you need others to fail to see that line to victory. You need
Yeah.
certain things to happen. and just like sometimes the perfect card comes out in the court, and yeah.
The hero of our story, Adam. You wanna read and just tell us your
Yeah,
favorite
read
part?
it.
All right, we have Prison Wardens. It's a 2-key. You need 2 keys to raid it from someone, and it has the weapons suit. So any card other than the arms union that has a weapons icon will always get you 3 ships when you prelude it. But it's, what do they call it? Passive. It's passive abilities.
It's new actions.
Its new actions are press gang and execute. So press gang allows you to take a build action, whether that be a prelude or a pip, and you can return captives that you have to gain 1 resource per captive. And it's only 1 pip to convert as many captives as you have. So you can just get this massive influx of resources if you've got the captives to do it. And then execute is just bolstering your trophy count by placing captives you have into your trophy box.
That seems
Yeah,
crazy.
so-
The one pip for like 5 resources just seems like way crazy of a card. That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is just another reason why you should always get captives when you can. And the two reasons really is to win Tyrant if that comes about, or to buff this card, because really they're the only 2 elements of the game of leaders and law. Maybe there's law cards and stuff, but like in the guild deck, what I can think of is this is a card that will most likely come out during your game. So if you've got captives ready for it, you could probably capitalize on it.
And
Yeah,
you
that's
were
good to
and you
know.
were
I
able
mean,
to.
whew, that was
Yep,
amazing.
you were.
So
You were able to.
so you when you were doing that though, when you were press ganging, you still didn't even think you had it till really you brought out the attack card and then you saw it, or when did it kind of click?
Um, I want to say that I had the whole thing worked out, but I didn't. For some reason the extra 3 ships, because I think I said this at the end of the game, is I didn't think that I could do it all because I thought I needed the fuel to win Tycoon, therefore I couldn't move a fleet around with the fuel. Because my last 2 cards were construction and admin, so I was like, I don't think I can get the ships, use the fuel, take out a fleet, and still win Tycoon, because I'm going to need that fuel to win Tycoon. So I think it occurred to me just in that final turn with the admin card. I know I needed a weapon. But yeah, I think I should have seen it earlier.
No, that's a
But
def move. What do we think this guy's doing? And now that I'm looking at it, I thought it was just a jail cell, but is that a rock? And is he attached?
I
to
think
the
he's like
rock?
moving. He's opening the door.
He's a prison warden.
Oh,
a prison.
he's like in a cloak. I see he's got big shoulder pads, like big 80s style shoulder
He's
pads.
either opening
cloak,
the
and
door or
pants.
he's sort of like gesturing you inside, like get
Yes,
in there.
right, get in there, yeah. But I couldn't tell what was going on in his right, our left, stage left. But like now I see that's like his shoulder. Okay,
Yeah.
seems menacing. Well, very good, very good. Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank
Your
you.
name is going
Yeah.
on the board.
On the board, he gets a board. There's a board.
There's a board there.
Yeah, I think I like it. I think the 3-player game, it was really nice and tight. It's fun to watch. I think we told the story. I loved it. I
Yeah.
think I'm looking forward to us getting the essence of these games kind of boiled down, and I think we're getting closer to
Yeah.
doing that. So
I mean, just to throw it out there in 3 sentences, you had this we didn't talk about throughout, but the noble was like ambitioning the heck. I mean, they were working that court, and declaring ambitions for the galaxy and like stealing sports cards off the deck, and Bubbles was a rapscallion of a pirate, mucking around down there. and as a Feastbringer, I would think I was just like, I don't know. He looks kind of hungry and distracted, and I feel like that's how I played. You know, like a little lack of focus, and but just wanted to eat stuff. But we're getting there.
It's good.
Yeah. I think he had the initiative a little too much for the Feastbringer. Mango.
Yeah, yeah. I realized it too. I also generally like. I don't know for whatever. It's like the instant gratification of having all your pips. Like I just really, as like a trick taking card mechanic, lean towards that. But you don't need it every time. You're right. Yeah.
Hmm. I feel like the Prison Wardens thing was a bit of a Populist Demands segment. Maybe.
Yeah, we did.
Mhm.
We'll call it that. Yes. It is an important card. I didn't even know about it really in that little detail, and that it could do. This is the last thing I'll say is whenever I teach this game to new people, I tell them the thing I realize is the more boring a card sounds, the better it is. Like if it's just like
Except for the
if it's
Elder
like,
Broker.
oh, the Elder Bro. No, you don't think
It's
that's a
got
good
this
card?
niche ability that's so hard to
Yeah, it is hard
fire
to pull
off.
off, but people think it's like the best thing. I agree, it's not. But even like the cards are like, yeah, turn in a card and draw a card, and it's like, oh wait, Farseers is giving you like you could get a whole new hand and like extra actions, like that's amazing. But if you read it as like someone who plays, I don't know, you're playing other games that where you just roll dice to blow things up, it all sounds so boring and confusing. But yeah, but Prison Wardens is I have a whole new respect for that card, and I will be getting captives just in case I'm lucky enough to get it.
Yeah, and imagine having that with Court Enforcers at the same time. So you're abducting, and then you can converting into resources.
Yeah, a prison population management thing going on basically. Where
Yeah,
you're
like
feeding the system.
it's like an engine built on human suffering.
Prisoners. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all right.
Richie's
We got
like,
there.
I'm trying to hang up this call.
Okay.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
So good to
See you on
you.
Monday.
Bye,
Bye.
world.
See you then.
All right.
Bye, world. Yep.
Wait, so
Um,
Tiger, you saying we're not gonna do we not have time for I guess we don't have time for Populist Demands.
not in an hour. Not when we're at an hour and a half. We've been at actually 2 hours and 10 minutes at this point. So
That's going to edit down to a neat half
sweet
an hour,
45,
right?
10:45.
that'll be edited out.
It's okay.
But
I'm gonna record in the hallway my own rant about still why Arc Nova is way over appreciated, but
please do.
it must have got a grant from the United Nations. Like it just feels like a journal paper. Like there's like authors on it.